Welcome to TaxBandits, an IRS-authorized compliance-driven e-file solution. Form 1042-S is an IRS information return used to report U.S. source income paid to foreign persons and the U.S. federal tax withheld on that income. Each Form 1042-S represents a specific payment to a specific recipient, and the data reported on these forms is reconciled at the aggregate level through Form 1042. Because the IRS relies heavily on Form 1042-S data to validate withholding accuracy, TaxBandits structures the filing workflow to mirror IRS validation logic and proactively reduce common filing and reconciliation errors. To begin, navigate to the Form 1042 dashboard and select Start New Form and select Form 1042-S. TaxBandits supports filing for the current tax year as well as up to 2 prior years. Start by entering a unique form identifier. The UFI must be a 10-digit number that is unique to the form and cannot be the recipient's U.S. or foreign TIN. Move to line 1, Income Code. Select the code that best describes the type of U.S. source income that was paid, such as interest, dividends, or services. On line 2, Gross Income, enter the total amount paid to the recipient before any tax was withheld. Next, determine the applicable chapter, as this selection governs how the form is validated. For most non-resident withholding scenarios, Chapter 3 applies and should be selected. Chapter 4 should only be selected when FACA reporting is required. On line 3B, Tax Rate, select the withholding rate that applies to the income. In most cases, this will be 30% unless a tax treaty rate applies. On line 3A, Exemption Code under Chapter 3, this field is used only when an exemption from withholding applies. In many standard filings where tax is being withheld, selecting tax rate is greater than 0.00% is often the most suitable option, as it indicates that no exemption is being claimed. When Chapter 4 does not apply, line 4B usually shows 0%, and line 4A is used to indicate that Chapter 4 withholding is not applicable. On line 6, Net Income, enter the amount subject to withholding. In most cases, this amount will be the same as the gross income entered on line 2. Proceed to line 7A, Federal Tax Withheld. Enter the total amount of U.S. federal tax withheld from the payment. Next, select the withholding agent. The withholding agent is the entity responsible for withholding and reporting the tax. Choose the agent from the address book or add a new one if needed. Proceed to the recipient section and enter the recipient's name and address information, including the country. This identifies the foreign person or entity that received the income. State information is generally not required, as Form 1042-S is a federal return, unless state tax was actually withheld. To proceed, click Save and Continue. Proceed to review the filing summary. Draft copies of the forms may be exported in PDF or CSV format for review and record keeping. Continue through state filing if applicable, then select your preferred recipient distribution method, including electronic access through the recipient portal or postal mailing. TaxBandits will perform a final automated audit check before submission. Once reviewed, add the forms to your cart. To complete your order, acknowledge the credit card usage authorization and select Pay and Transmit to submit payment and transmit the filing. Upon successful processing, your forms will be transmitted to the IRS as submitted. For a streamlined IRS-aligned approach to Form 1042-S compliance, filing, and distribution, visit TaxBandits.com.